know where I was going to sit. Obviously, anytime we win, it's a good thing, and certainly we were all excited, to get back in the Siegel, and really appreciate the turnout, tonight. We need to keep that going. Certainly, I'm sure there are tickets for sale for our next homestand after we play Boston College and we come back home, but we need that type of atmosphere. I love seeing Phil when he made that big play, like pumping up the crowd and like getting our crowd into it. Like this place is, is really, it can really impact, the opponents, and we need that. We definitely need it. It's as loud as a building I've been in. I've coached in a lot of places, and when it's alive, it's alive. And we need it for every game. All right, all of these games are really, really important. And Bellarmine, I thought, they did a really nice job. Early in the season, it's tough, to kind of figure out, what different teams have. You can't really account for guys putting work, in the summer and getting better and improving. You have to kind of see it for yourself when you get out there. And, certainly some of their guys have continued to improve. They've gotten healthy. Having guys back, they've added some key pieces, I think, like we have, that have helped their team. But even you look at their red shirts last year, those guys that were freshmen that didn't play last year, they redshirted, and now they practiced all year and to get ready for this season. I thought they had several guys off the bench, that did a really nice job as well. And they're an extremely well-coached team. Coach Davenport does such a great job. I know he was excited to be back here, at VCU, kind of the beginning of his college coaching career, and coached a lot of games, in his life. And I appreciate him coming back, and I think Coach Polio was here, Tubby Smith was here as well to see him, which was really cool. But I thought his team played well. They competed really hard in that first half, and we'd stretch it, and then they'd come back. We'd stretch it, come back, and we couldn't quite, get it to a margin that we wanted in that first half, and we had to go back in and regroup a little bit. Certainly 37 points was too many, in that first half. And thought our guys in the second half, did a much better job of forcing some more difficult shots, and then cleaning those up and then turning those into, some easier baskets, off the court. But Michael Bell, to me, played like a veteran, tonight, coming off the bench. We really needed him in that situation because of how they play. They're all moving around, and their 5 men are out behind the 3, and then they're near the basket, and then they're reversing the ball. And it's like they're moving all over. Our scout team did a great job, of getting our guys ready, for this game, to give them a taste, just a taste of what they were going to experience within the game, because it wears you down. All right, then moving that ball side to side, you can get really winded quickly, and that's why we subbed pretty early. Firm, can explain why a little bit later, but he's done that before in practice, and then he comes right back and does it and plays. But once everybody's settled in, I thought our veterans, did a really nice job. But always pleased to win, and thankful for, the guys in our locker room.
20 assists, 15 of 29 from 3. What was clicking offensively, especially on the perimeter?
Yeah, just the spacing. These guys pass, they pass, they're shot ready. They know they have the green light, to knock it in and let it fly. But they want to make sure that they're taking the right shots. And we only had a few where it was like, okay, why'd you do that? Why'd you take that one? Phil, we had it rolling, and then Phil kind of went one-on-one and pulled it up. The step back 3, we hadn't even made a pass yet. He looked at me and was like, my bad. They know, they know, and they know what we want. And I thought from an execution standpoint, it was pretty good for a first game. Will it need to improve? Obviously. There's no question about it. 16 turnovers too many.
For a very brief moment, I think Jack was at the 5.
Yeah.
Is that something y'all might dabble in, particularly to play 5 out?
Yeah, if you go back and look at it, he was out there. Even though Bell was out there with him, you call him the 5, call Bell the 5. I mean, that's a lineup, right? You could do it without one of them in there as well, and put another guard in there, put Brandon in, put Terrence in, put Fats in there. And so there's some, there's some flexibility there, right? Some versatility, hard to guard. And, from a defensive perspective, we have, a plan, right now for what we've got to do, to combat others that will, try to pound it in there, on us. Now, we've got to execute it. This was a different game, right? This was drive to the basket, get you on your heels when you're not ready, pivot, get the shot. They had some post-ups, and, there were a couple where we didn't play it correctly. But, for the most part, our guys did a nice job on those. It was more the drives and the stops and the pivots. And I thought the second half, our guys did a much better job of forcing some hard ones and then cleaning them up. They did still get in there, but they're going to challenge you with how they move in space, and you've got to be attentive to those three-point shooters.
How encouraging was it to see the offense run like that without Zeb? And do you have an idea of how long you might be without him?
Yeah, unfortunate. Obviously, I was sitting in here on whatever day that was for the media day, and he was fine. And then we went into practice, and he had an unfortunate situation, and went off the court and started messing with his hand, and got over there with Jay Walsh. Actually went back in and started practicing again. And it just didn't feel right, and he went out, and I was like, well, let's just go x-ray it real quick. And he literally went with his uniform on and went across the street and got the x-ray, and we got the news, and it's unfortunate. And he's already had the surgery now, as you can see. I didn't want to distract, from getting ready for the game, with announcing it until now. I did tell Robbie, obviously, so he could announce it on the air, as the game was going on. But just feel really bad for, Zeb, most importantly. But we have one of the best hand doctors in all of the country, Dr. Cotterell, and she did Ace's surgery. She did Joe's this summer, and so Joe's already been counseling Zeb, on kind of what the experience and the feeling that he's going to have over the next couple of days. And then Jay Wall's going to work his magic, and then we'll see. We'll see what it is. I mean, typically it's 4 weeks, but we don't know where it's going to head. He's going to play as soon as he's ready.
Lane mentioned, the offense was out, but how much does just his impact on defense as an experienced, aggressive guard, not having Zeb in there, and just having to throw in more freshmen, more Phil, who's obviously a dog but new to us.
We feel confident in these freshmen, right? I mean, we've watched these freshmen every day against our veterans, and Zeb will tell you the same thing. These guys are good, and he probably feels good too. He knows, knowing that he has these guys here. Fats is another guy, that can get in the game, and help our team. And so we're going to need all of them over the course of the season, right? And so, this is going to be, their time to enter this mix and really get comfortable, and while still having, other veterans out there. But Zeb's defensive intensity, in any game is really impressive. Zeb's going to be better because he's not going to have, like all of these guys will be better because they're not going to have to play as many minutes. And you can see our pressure is like, we're picking up further, right? We're picking up the court. And that was a hard team to press. They, in terms of their ball handling and just how they run their offense, quick inbounding it, hard team to press. Every team's not going to do that, all right, exactly the way that they do. And Phil's a terror on the ball, Zeb's a terror on the ball, Max is really, like Max all summer was excellent at it. Jack, Michael Bell, you got multiple guys. Brandon, you saw him in there at a key time of the game. We subbed him in for Joe. He's a really good defender. He's very, very good. And so, I like where this team can go on that side of the ball.
Gresham is on the wing, Coach. 16 points off the bench. Just talk about your thoughts on the productivity of the bench tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to kind of what we've been talking about here. It's like we're confident in all of the guys, on the bench, and certainly, we've got some young guys that are going to get their feet wet now with Zeb's injury happening, but they would have gotten it anyway, I think, in terms of having some meaningful minutes out there to see what they can do. And we're excited about where it's at.
What do you tell the guys, if you have to tell them anything, about Friday's opportunity, which schools like VCU don't get all the time?
Yeah, there's no question. Playing an ACC team on a neutral site, neutral court is always beneficial. For us, it's a good opportunity. I think for us, it's going to be about the entire experience. I talked a little bit about the opportunity, but more about the experience that these guys are going to have going to the Naval Academy for 2 days. And certainly everyone in here understands, what that place is all about. Lucy and I, the boys, lived right there when I was coaching at UMBC, so those folks are special to us. They're not the only ones that protect us, but they do a lot of it, right? And our guys are going to be able to get a feel for that and appreciate all that they have, here at VCU. And I think VCU did it 4 or 5 years ago. Our team at Utah State did it. My first year at Utah State, and it's an eye-opening experience. They have a captain's tour that starts at 7 a.m. And it's going to take a lot of maturity, from our team, to go through that entire day, then go to practice, all right, then get a meal, then do prep. It's a lot. And there's 3 teams that are going to be having the same routine. The other team's used to it, right, every day. They get 90 minutes for practice, and when that thing hits, they got to be out of there because they've got somewhere else to go. And it's not like that, for all of us. And so I want to make sure that our guys understand, first and foremost, all right, we know we're up there, to play a game and compete to win, but also this is an added bonus for us to be able to give these kids this experience because it's really important.
For the game itself, you get to see Chad Benning, who you saw St. Bonaventure.
Yeah, no doubt. Excellent player.
Interesting to see him come back around.
Yeah, no question. And he's an excellent player. He played really well in Siegel that first time we played him, and did a nice job in that second as well. I thought our guys, did a better job up there, against him. But we'll see. We'll see their first game. They have some new players. I know their coach very well. He's worked for 2 tremendous coaches, and Brad Brownell and Greg Marshall, who had some crazy games against VCU years ago. And so he's an excellent coach, and we know it's going to be a tough battle. But our guys are excited. They're excited to play, excited to get going with the season.
You touched on it already. Brandon didn't score, but 15, 24, 2 blocks. How did he impact this game?
Yeah, he wouldn't have been in there, right, if he wasn't. And, Brandon is, I think I've said it plenty of times so far, and that was his first game. Brandon will do whatever it takes to win. He's going to help his team win, whatever that is. And whatever his team needs at that particular time, he's going to try to do it. And it might be making an open shot. It might be that drive to the basket that he took. I thought he might have gotten fouled, but they didn't call it. It's fine. But he was aggressive, and I was okay with that. But yeah, he's going to make the pass. He's going to defend the ball. He's going to fight. He's going to get on the floor. He's just going to do whatever it takes to win. And I think you saw Phil, in a similar mode. He gets the push off. He makes winning plays. Jack made some winning plays. Michael Bell would pass out. And then all of a sudden we're getting a 3 on the backside. There's a lot of winning plays, all right, to be had out there. Joe contesting 42. When we ended up, we were going to scramble. They threw it back out to 42 right in front of their bench. He's getting ready to get an open 3. Joe flew over there, all right, and contested the shot. Just one late contest is all we needed. All right, and then all of a sudden we came up with the ball. But had he stood there and watched it, it wouldn't have happened. He probably would have banged the shot. And Joe didn't watch. He went and he moved. And this time last year, we were kind of in stop mode a lot of times, if you remember. Right? The guys were not in stop mode, tonight.
One or two more?
About 35 minutes from Max tonight. What did you see from him in the opening night and his work ethic on that day?
I mean, I thought Max did an excellent job. There were a couple plays on defense, right? That he hasn't shown that in practice. And I think some of that's due to 35 minutes, right? And not taking him off the hook, but probably needs a little bit less, than that, and so he can play his, best, and not be as winded defensively because he's guarding, their best shooter, their best scorer, pretty much, and chasing him around and moving around. The guy's a good player. He's a veteran, and I thought Max did a nice job tonight, certainly, and got off to a hot start, with the threes, and guys found him. And it's tough, when you stretch the line like that, and you have guys that can knock in shots, it opens up the ability to get to the basket, as well. And I thought there was a pretty good balance, there for us. Obviously, we're not going to make 15 threes every night, right? But credit to our guys for when it was there, being shot ready and knocking it in.
Anything else, Coach?